This is my 2025 MLB free agent predictions. Starting off at number 25, we got Luis Severino. This past season with the Mets, he had a pretty solid year. Nothing crazy, but I think he could be a good middle to back end rotation pitcher. He's going into his 31-year-old season. I have him getting 2 years, $30 million with the Texas Rangers. At number 24, we got outfielder Tyler O'Neill. He had a great season with the Red Sox and he looked really good playing in Fenway Park. I don't think too many teams are going to want to take a really long-term contract with him since he has been a little bit iffy since like 2021. He's going into his 29-year-old season. I have him going back to Boston, getting 2 years, $28 million with maybe like a player option for year 2. At number 23, I got Jock Pederson. Had a great season with the Diamondbacks. He's going into his 33-year-old season. He kind of struggles to stay healthy. He always seems to take 1-year deals, but this year I think maybe he gets a multi-year deal. I have him going back to the Diamondbacks, 2 years, $30 million. At number 22, we got Ha-Sung Kim, who's got a mutual option with the Padres. He kind of had a down season this past year, but he still put up really good defensive numbers. Realistically, he's probably average to above average offensively, but he's got a pretty good glove and he steals some bases. I think the Dodgers could be an interesting team that could go after him, but I have Ha-Sung Kim going back to the Padres, taking a 1-year, $25 million deal with a $20 million option for the next year. At number 21, we got Carlos Estevez. He's the first relief pitcher on this list. He had a pretty good season with the Phillies last year, and going into his 32-year-old season, I have him going back to the Phillies, getting 2 years, $18 million. Another relief pitcher on this list, we got Jeff Hoffman. He's going into his 32-year-old season. There's a lot of teams that need bullpen help, but I have him going to the Blue Jays, who desperately need the help, and I have him getting 2 years, $26 million. At number 19, we got Shane Bieber. It's unfortunate that he missed like the entire season last year. I have him getting like a 1-year deal or like a 2-year deal with an option for the next season, kind of like what Lucas Giolito got last year. Since Joe Musgrove is injured, I have Shane Bieber taking a spot on the Padres. I have him getting 2 years, $45 million, with the second year being a player option for $20 million. At number 18, we got Sean Manaea. He's another one of those Mets pitchers last year who just seemed to have a really good season. He's going into his 33-year-old season, and similar to Luis Severino, I think he can be a solid mid-rotation to back-end rotation guy, and I have Sean Manaea going to the Angels, since they just traded away Griffin Canning, and I have him getting 2 years, $42 million. At number 17, we got Tanner Scott. This guy's the top closing pitcher on the market this offseason. He's only going to be 30. There's going to be a lot of teams who want him. I have him getting 3 years, $50 million, and going to the Chicago Cubs. At number 16, we got outfielder Jurickson Profar. He's going into his 32-year-old season, and last year he had the best season of his career with the Padres, making his first All-Star game. I could definitely see him going back to San Diego, but I think he fits the mold of exactly what the Blue Jays front office wants, as they really seem to like guys who are good defensively. So I have Jurickson Profar going to the Blue Jays, getting 2 years, $28 million. For the top 15, we got Michael Wacha. He's got a player option this year, and I think he opts out. He's going into his 33-year-old season. He had an excellent season last year, and I have him getting 3 years, $54 million, and going to the Tigers. He just kind of seems like a player the Tigers would get. At number 14, we got Nathan Eovaldi. He's been really good playing for Texas the last few seasons. He's going into his 35-year-old season, so he's getting a bit older, but still, I have him getting a 3-year, $55 million contract, and I have him going back to Texas. At number 13, we got first baseman Christian Walker. I don't think he's going to get quite as much money or as many years as some people are thinking because of his age. He's going into his 34-year-old season, but still, he's still a great first baseman. So I have Walker going back to the Diamondbacks and getting 3 years, $70 million. At number 12, we got Jack Flaherty. Now, this is an interesting one because he was great in 2024, but besides that, he hasn't even been good since 2019, so I don't think there's going to be too many teams going to offer him a long-term contract that's worth his time. He's only 29 years old, but I think since he did so well in Detroit, I have him going back to the Tigers, getting 2 years, $45 million. Similar to some other deals, with a $20 million player option for year 2. At number 11, we got Roki Sasaki. Looks like there's going to be another great Japanese player on the market this year, or pitcher I should say. He's only 23 years old. I don't know too much about him. I have absolutely no idea how much money he's going to make, but I have him going to the Mets. Starting off the top 10, we got Yusei Kikuchi, a 33-year-old starting pitcher. At first, when the Jays traded him to Houston at the deadline, I thought Toronto definitely won that deal because Kikuchi was kind of mid the first half, but he looked really good the second half with Houston. I think it was a great fit for him, so I have him going back to Houston, getting 3 years, $60 million. Before we get to number 9, let me know what you think of these predictions so far in the comments down below. As always, I'll try to reply to every comment. Last year, I got like over 600 comments, and I think I replied to almost all of them, so this year, go crazy in the comments. I'll do my best to reply. At number 9, Anthony Santander. Now, there's a lot of different predictions on how much money and how many years he's going to get. I've seen some people thinking he's getting like 7 years. I don't think that's likely going to happen. He's not great defensively, but last year he had the best offensive season of his career. He's only going to be 30 years old. I think a team like Toronto could definitely use him, but I don't think they're going to end up going for him. So I have Anthony Santander getting 4 years, $80 million, and going to the Royals. At number 8, we got Teoscar Hernandez. Hernandez. He is going into his 32-year-old season. I think considering how good he was in the playoffs, he's going to get paid a little bit more. A lot of teams want him. Blue Jays, Red Sox, maybe like the Twins, Padres, Cubs, Tigers, who knows? But I have him going back to the Dodgers. 4 years, $88 million. At number 7, we got Pete Alonso. I honestly don't really know what kind of contract he's going to get. He did have a down season last year. I kind of wonder if some people are sleeping on him a little too much, but I also wonder if some people are also overhyping him. I could see him taking a 1-year deal, but I think he's going to end up going for the long-term deal. I have him getting 6 years, $144 million, and going to the Mariners. At number 6, we got the top shortstop on the market, Willy Adames. Only 29 years old. I think the 3 main teams that are going to be in on him, Giants, Dodgers, Braves. Some people are saying he's getting like over $200 million. I don't think that's going to happen. I have him getting 6 years, $160 million, and I have him going to the Giants, who always seem to miss out on these big free agents just barely. But this year, I think they're going to make a bit more of a splash. At number 5, Alex Bregman. Going into his 31-year-old season, I have him getting about $160 million for 6 years. I wasn't going to predict him to get that much, but Matt Chapman just got $151 million, and he's a year older, and I would say Bregman's probably better. So I say Bregman gets a bit more. I definitely want him to stay in Houston, but I'm not sure if they're going to give him a big deal like some other teams will, as they got some other players they need to lock up in the near future. I could see him going to Toronto, Seattle, but I'll do a fun pick here. I say he signs with Detroit and goes back to playing for his old manager, AJ Hinch. At number 4, we got Max Fried. Going into his 31-year-old season, there's going to be a lot of teams who are after him this offseason, but I have him going out to the West Coast, getting 6 years, $165 million, and signing with the Giants. At number 3, I got Blake Snell. Last year was a super weird offseason for him and a lot of players. I think he's going to opt out of his contract this year. Even though he didn't pitch a whole lot because of injury, he was still really good. Going into his 32-year-old season, I have him going back to the Padres, getting 5 years, $150 million. But before we get to number 2, if you didn't already know, hi there, my name's Addison. I'm the guy with the weird bruise on my face. I also run this channel 100% Gold, and I have a goal of making the best baseball YouTube videos possible. And to show you how dedicated I am, hang on, I need to stand up for this. If we get 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year, for every prediction I get wrong on this video, that's going to equal 1 egg that gets chucked at me. So if I do really bad, there could be like 25 eggs thrown at my head. Last year when I did this video, I gained over 1,000 subscribers in just a few days, which is just insane. So if you want to subscribe, that would be great. And if you already have subscribed, thank you. At number 2, we got Corbin Burns. Just like a lot of these top players and pitchers, there's going to be a ton of teams after him this offseason. He's only going to be 30 this year. I think some possible teams, Baltimore, possibility. It's hard to say how much their new ownership's going to spend. Maybe the Red Sox. I don't know if they're going to spend that much. Mets, they don't seem to give too long of contracts to pitchers. Maybe the Rangers, the Giants, the Dodgers are always in on these things. But I'm going to go for another fun pick here, and I have Corbin Burns getting 8 years, $256 million, and going to the Washington Nationals. And the number 1 free agent this offseason is obviously Juan Soto. He's only going to be 26 next year, which is still insane. Some people are saying he's getting like $600 million. I don't know if that's going to happen. Obviously, a lot of teams are going to want him. Cubs, Blue Jays, Giants, Yankees, Mets. I don't think the Blue Jays are going to be able to get him just because how they weren't able to get Ohtani last year, but it could happen. It's just a very dark horse pick. At the end of the day, I think to a certain extent, whatever team's going to spend the most money on him, I think that's where he's going to end up. So I have Juan Soto getting 14 years, $560 million, and going back to the Yankees. And if you're wondering what happened to my face, I ran into a desk. But if you want to see the worst injuries in MLB history, click this. Does anyone actually watch this part of the video?